Hello, neighbor. You are now watching Prophetic News in Focus. In current times, the world is witnessing first-hand dramatic accounts of Bible prophecy being fulfilled at an alarming rate, bringing the return of Jesus Christ nearer every day. This week, Prophetic News in Focus presents a prophecy update. In today's broadcast, we will explore the scriptural passages that reveal these truths to a searching generation. Welcome to another broadcast of Prophetic News in Focus. In this week's headlines,
Shalom, we're broadcasting our edition from here, from Tel Aviv, the center of Tel Aviv. As a few hours ago, sirens were heard here in the city, and the residents rushed to the shelters that they are already used to doing, and the sounds of explosions were heard in the air as the Iron Dome intercepted the missiles shot to this area from the Gaza Strip. And this is all, of course, as our soldiers are still in the midst of the counterterrorism protective edge operation, and we begin with our security update from yet another day of fighting.
Latest headlines regarding the conflict in the Gaza Strip relates to yet another ceasefire attempt. A joint statement presented by the spokesperson of the United Nations informed us that Secretary General Ban Ki-moon and United States Secretary of State John Kerry announced that the United Nations representative in Jerusalem, Special Coordinator Robert Seri, has received assurances that all parties have agreed to an unconditional humanitarian ceasefire in Gaza. This humanitarian ceasefire will commence on Friday morning. It'll be for a period of 72 hours unless extended. During this time, the forces on the ground will remain in place. Moments after this agreement for a ceasefire was published, terrorists from the coastal enclave fired a salvo of rockets towards Israel's Shfela region. Sirens were heard shortly after 1 a.m. Lod and other locations. The Iron Dome anti-missile system intercepted at least one rocket near Ramle. Two additional rockets exploded in open areas. There were no reports of damage or physical injuries in these rocket attacks. Earlier, 6 people were injured, 3 of them seriously, when a mortar shell fired by Gaza terrorists struck the Eshkol region Thursday evening. The casualties were evacuated by helicopter to Soroka in Beersheba and Tel Shomer near Ramat Gan. Earlier, a rocket hit a house in Kiryat Gat. One person sustained moderate to severe injuries. He was evacuated to Ashkelon's Barzilai Hospital after being treated by medics from both Ichud Hatzala and Magen David Adom.
Prime Minister Netanyahu opened the government meeting today with a statement to the public about the situation in the south and the entire state of Israel.
צה"ל ממשיך לפעול גם בשעה הזאת ברחבי רצועת עזה במלוא העוצמה.
The IDF is continuing to act with full force across the Gaza Strip. IDF soldiers are completing the neutralization of the terrorist tunnels. These tunnels would have enabled Hamas to abduct and murder civilians and IDF soldiers via simultaneous attacks from many tunnels that penetrate our territory. We are now dismantling this ability.
את היכולת הזאת אנחנו מפרקים עכשיו. אמרתי בתחילת המערכה.
I said at the start of the campaign, there's no guarantee of 100% success. Just as Iron Dome does not provide a complete answer, but the IDF actions have impressive results in the field, and these actions are continuing at full strength even now.
והפעולות הללו, כאמור, נמשכות במלוא עוזן גם ברגעים הללו. אני מבקש מכאן לפנות לאזרחי ישראל. אתם משמשים דוגמה ומופת.
I would like to say this to the citizens of Israel. You serve as examples. Your resilience in the face of our enemies is impressive. It causes deep appreciation around the world. I must say that your strong stand is a national force multiplier that enables us to conduct this campaign in a responsible manner, in a way that will give the best possible results for the state of Israel and its people.
באופן שייתן את התוצאות הטובות ביותר למדינת ישראל ולאזרחי ישראל.
We've heard many statements from the United States throughout the past few days, but it seems that the statements are going from we support Israel to mainly emphasizing the problematic side in terms of America, of the counterterrorism operation. These are the latest statements we heard from Washington.
We have continued to urge Israeli military officials to live up to their high standards that they have set for the protection of innocent civilians. There is clearly more that can and should be done to ensure the safety of innocent civilians.
I do believe that they are trying to live up to the high standard they set for themselves. And again, they are in a situation where Hamas is hiding rockets in places to prevent the Israelis from going after them. So look, Hamas is taking steps here that put civilians at risk, but we do believe the Israelis need to do more.
Israel's ambassador to the United Nations had the opportunity to answer some of these claims in a press conference he held in the United Nations Center in New York.
People here in the international community repeated like parrots, why don't you put in construction material, a bit of cement and steel? That's very, very nice. Look at what the construction material, the cement, terror tunnels with tons of cement out there, steel, billions of dollars that good people around the world wanted to donate. Look at where it goes to. Instead of to kindergartens, schools, and hospitals, they built those terror tunnels with the only intention of murdering, kidnapping, maiming Israelis in all the kibbutzim around. So you ask us why we look at this place that could have been Singapore, from our point of view, as a launching pad for terror and missiles against Israeli civilians day in and day out, after we went back to the 67 lines, to the green lines, no so-called occupation. So don't get me with this issue of blockade. This equation is quite simple. It's going to be quiet in Israel, it's going to be quiet in Gaza. We have no other intention.
Zvika Kaplan was one of the soldiers who were killed during these days of fighting in the Gaza Strip. Already, just a few days after he died, a memorial special march took place in Jerusalem. The march took place in memory of Kaplan, but also inspired and in a will to go in his footsteps.
We're here part of a group we call Tzvika Power, Koach Tzvika. We're having a solidarity protest and rally here. First of all, to express solidarity with the nation of Israel, the army, the leaders, to raise the spirit of the people with God's help, to continue with the operation, to continue with full power ahead. The home front is strong.
לדעת שהעורף שלנו ברוך השם איתן.
The internet is, of course, an important tool when it comes to propaganda, or as we call it in Israel, hasbara. The foreign ministry produced the following the following animated clip to present what they call the Gaza Heights.
Welcome to Gaza Heights, the most tranquil neighborhood in the Strip. Gaza Heights provides residents with modern medical services. Children enjoy diverse nursery school activities. But what really brings the residents of Gaza Heights together is serving as human shields for Hamas terrorists. Save Gaza from Hamas.